Hi everyone, I'm Ubina Kapasi and today I have with me Mr. Venkat Krishnan, the CIO of Karnataka Bank, a bank that definitely needs no introduction. But sir, I'd like to understand from you what exactly have been the digital initiatives that you have taken charge of since you joined the bank.
Thank you for having this interview with me. And what I'm in charge for is this is a 101-year-old bank, which is more than, probably it's older than even the regulator. Uh, and The role for the bank is to probably move them from a very traditional banking setup to a digitized setup. And What we are doing there is transformation rather than having an incremental kind of an approach in terms of transforming. We are having an exponential way of doing things. So, what do you mean by that is uh, we do have our own legacy, but the legacy, how can we overcome that legacy um, without any kind of an interruption to the bank? And how are we going to go about that exercise of leapfrogging the whole journey is the probably the major a challenge for me as a CIO. And um, I, you know the testament for the progress what we made is last year, uh, even for the IBA recognized us for six of the areas where we are working on. We were awarded with recognition from IBA themselves, like, and that proves that we are doing something right. That means you're not doing anything wrong. So that's the biggest testament which I can talk about. And and this is the best ever which Karnataka Bank has ever done in its probably 101 years of existence. So we are doing that quite well.
You know, that's the thing, right? I mean, with technology and finance, things change so rapidly that you have more choice also for to grow exponentially. Now, I want to know that how have you primed Karnataka Bank in such a way that it differentiates itself from other banks' digital setup and stack?
What we are doing probably better than the other people is we are concentrating on rationalizing our portfolio in terms of not rationalizing the product, or the what we are doing is optimizing the enterprise architecture to an extent wherein we do not grow the portfolio much, because tomorrow the banks are going to be measured based on how efficient they are on even on the um, how they run their IT per se, because IT is the in the banking segment is the most cost, um, probably it's a cost center for the organization, and how you're going to optimize that cost is going to be very important. And from that sense, it is very important that how you're going to attack that problem of improving the ratios with respect to cost to income ratio, operational efficiency, productivity. Those are the major criteria based on which they are the drivers for us to ensure that the business drivers are being supported by the technology drivers. So that's how we are going to go about it. And at the same time, performance per se, how we have done. So the number of transactions, about the UPI transactions, which are increased sevenfold in probably in last 3 years. Our transaction decline rates are at 0.07%, which has been recorded consistently for the last 6 months, which is probably we are still the fourth in the segment, but fourth in 38 banks in India is still a good achievement. That's what I can say. And we build a lot of resiliency across our net. We are also optimizing by using both our data center DR and the nearline side, and optimizing it by using all the infrastructure at one go. Okay, which actually makes us more efficient than the other banks, because most of the banks run on one production site. We actually are using all the resources which we have spent. So it is like sweating your resources to that extent. Wow.
You know, I recently read about the partnership that you'll enter into with IBM, which is essentially to transform your API stack. Could you tell us a bit about that and what it's going to cost you?
Yeah. So the API how the journey for the API banking started. API, API was already there in the bank, but there were different types of integrations which we had done. There were, because over a period of time, over the last probably a decade, peer-to-peer connections were there. There were a lot of, technologies which came and which resided in the bank, and we had to make it more efficient, transparent to our partners, transparent to the regulator, which was a driving factor for us in terms of building in more security into the whole API banking for safe. So what we have done is incorporating all these three parts of it, making it more secure, a more even when the data is in transit, when the we have encrypted that data also, and also from an efficiency perspective, now I will be able to tell how many transactions I was initiated by a fintech company, how many got successfully done, and I will have a real time monitoring by which I can say that how many transactions failed and how am I correcting those things. So it gives in more transparency to the fintech partner, transparency to the bank, and there will be less of what I call it as uh, fear of the unknown, right? So we are trying to put that kind of a structure by which the overall technology, governance, process, and compliance are attacked by the same API user.
What do you think are the day-to-day challenges that you face? It could be, budgetary related, because let's face it, you also have these humongous banks that have these huge budgets. It could be talent pool related as well, because getting the right kind of talent that can work efficiently with you. If you could walk us through that.
So, budget related challenges are like, if I want to call it as, I don't feel that is a problem because, the board and the bank uh, and the, people associated with the technology functions and the senior management are all aligned towards, what needs to be done as from a road mapping perspective. And we've been able to, it's not about nothing is good to have, right? It's must to have. So we are ensuring that we do not spend money into, or we are not investing into technologies just to be present in the growth ecosystem, but we have to do well, and it has to make a commercial sense, or a, to either to the customer or to the bank or to the regulator, and to ensure that all these three factors are taken care of once an initiative is taken. So without that, we don't want to start any project. Uh, and the management and the board has been very supportive in ensuring that we do not get into uh, issues of not being investing in technology now. So we don't have that challenge per se. But obviously there is challenge because there is a competitiveness is there in the market. So we have to be always be better than the ecosystem per se. And that is what the CIOs get paid for, right? Finally, and and that's the best part of it. Uh, it's a it's always uh, a bane for a CIO as well as a credit for the CIO. So it is like that.
I'd like to understand that when Karnataka talks about its maybe 5, 10 year vision and roadmap, I'm sure as a C suite executive, it's shared with you. If you could share a little bit about what the bank envisages to be and what, of course, your role as a CIO and your department takes care of it.
So Karnataka Bank actually, as when they had this centenary celebration last year, we said that it's Bharat ka Karnataka Bank. So we want to not be termed, because it's nothing to do with the term Karnataka per se, but it is more to do with how are we being present, and and it does not have a annotation or connotation to a state called Karnataka, or a state called Karnataka per se. But we want to give that experience to the customer wherever they are, and we've been able to serve the customer, and being our best part of it is, um, We are, though we were we were having a lot of legacy systems, our customer service scores were very good. An index, anyone who banks with us has got a personal touch. Even when they go to the branches, he ensure that the customer does not become angry. Most of the banks suffer from footfalls in the branches. We do not have that problem. So most of the problems which the other bank have in terms of business problems, we do not have that. Which is like customer success, customer happiness, and customer satisfaction. We have a fair degree of, if I want to call it as, comfort that whatever we are doing, it will just enhance that proposition and take it to the next level from a technology perspective.
All right. Well, great. Thank you so much, Mr. Krishnan, for your time and all the very best.
Yeah, thank you.